And filming.
Okay, good. All right, so the concept or the idea would be a minor blues, almost in the feel of Stray Cat Strut. And again, you may watch this through in a week and decide this is not the route to go, but I think this would be a good starting point between this and maybe a dressed up shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
But here we have we'll start with a minor 1 and E, 1, down to the D7, C7, down to our 5 chord. Now here's a so there's a cool way to get into the 4 chord. There's a 1, 5 going to, or a minor 1, but if we looked at this as a 2, going to a 5 chord to G7, and then from there we can get a major 3rd movement here, and that's a beautiful cadence back to the E minor. You hear it? So the concept will sound like this. Maybe that's your turnaround. Sorry. My bad. I just totally blew it. Yeah, I like the dominant sound all the way. Now here. Now that time I took those chords for twice as long. Three, 4, or maybe I could go. I'm trying to figure out a way to just turn it around, really turn it around, because you have this a 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1. Back to the top. Get the idea? So I know there's a lot going on right now and none of it's perfect, but let's get you acquainted with a couple of those cadences. So the first one you have pretty well. You might as well just fill in the whole thing. I'll give you a clean sound. Okay, so E minor, D7, C7 to the 5 chord B, right? That's our first big movement. Is your volume cranked?
No.
Yeah, crank your volume. There we go, I got you. Keep it going, okay? Okay, so now the 4 chord concept, there's a couple things going on in my head with this. I could do something as interesting as, let's see. See how I'm going to a 4 here, What I'm doing is a minor 1, minor 2, G7 dominant, walking up, almost like the opposite of. Here we go. I would go dominant here. Minor, dominant. Oh, sorry. together. Obviously, I'm not making this up. It's nothing Russell Malone didn't play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, what a drag.
Oh yeah. Well, we lost a few people over the last week.
Who else did we lose?
One of the people who came to the blues jams, one of the people who used to dance.
Okay.
He had a stroke maybe 4 months ago, and
Passed away.
Passed away last week.
Oh man.
Jerry Carter passed away in the last month or so, and then that's what came out last week.
Oh wow. And then Russell Malone was like literally Friday.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him play?
Yeah.
I mean, he was to me the missing link between, let's say, the era of Barney Kessel and Wes.
Yeah.
And I would say Martino, I guess Martino was older.
Yeah.
So Martino was definitely, to me, closer to the era of George Benson.
Yeah.
But Russell Malone, who probably isn't the same. Well, actually, Schofield's a lot older than him too. Schofield's like 70 now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is about, but he was the guy after those guys who really walked with that tradition, but also was able to, he slides into Diana Krall's band. He slides into. He played with everybody. And he could go from like four-play smooth jazz to the most legit Wes Montgomery you ever heard.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I think honestly for that next generation, the closest thing to like George Benson's chops, because that guy could play so clean and so fast.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I that was a tragic loss. My understanding is he had a heart attack while I was on tour with Ron Carter, which I can't believe either, because Ron Carter's got to be.
Ron Carter's in his late 70s.
I guess, man.
He was the award when I graduated from graduate school. He was there for the special work. He's a Rochester Eastman School graduate.
That's right. You're right about that. Okay, yeah. Of course you're right about that. You were there. That's right. He was because he was an honorary doctorate there, right?
Yeah, he was an honorary doctorate, but he got his.
But he actually did the work.
Yeah, he actually
He
graduated earlier, so he got the.
At that point, what he just wrote his thesis on himself.
Yeah.
So the next cadence, I don't know if you like it, but to explore it, I'm going to E minor up to an F sharp minor. Let's go ahead and play these. F sharp minor, sharp. Then I'm going to a G7. And then that takes me to a dominant 7, but the A, which is the 4 chord of E. So it's kind of a crafty way to do the E and the 4 chord. The other way that I gave it to you is I went right to that 2-5. But what I'm hearing right now that's kind of cool, it's kind of like a counterpart to that, right? And if I wanted to go minor 4, and that's what I did, I went from the dominant 4 now theoretically I could also go, because that would be the 5 coming off that dominant chord, half step cadence down to the 5 chord for us, and then we're back to the E. Now this is completely different, obviously, than a straight shuffle.
Yes.
It's definitely, it's a blues, but it may have more emotion, but it seems to resonate with you.
Well, yeah.
And so, what about that do you love?
All of it.
Okay.
That's the challenge.
Well, no, but all of it is a piece, you know. So let's talk about that cadence then. So once we get to the A7, and you've got all this on tape, it's still filming, right? A7. I'm going to minor A, which is our minor 4 chord to E, right? Down to. So I'm treating it like a 2-5, taking me to G. So here's a D7. Now I'm going to the G, which is my, should be considered the 1 chord here for this. But I'm turning this into a 5 chord, going to C. 7, all dominants. When you do these kind of cycles, dominants are going a half step. There's our resolution for E minor. Ain't got no money to pay the rent. You know, you've heard that. So what you want to do is get this progression together, and that's could be the bulk of your form.
Yeah.
Does Bergen like those types of progressions?
I've seen published stuff more recently, so we did.
Of his?
Yeah.
That has changes in 2/5s like that?
Not sort of changing to 2/5, so we did. What did we do?
Okay.
And then just
Okay, all right. So he's into definitely some substitutive changes and stuff. So I mean, not that we're trying to please him, because this is all about your blues.
Yeah.
You know, but what I would do is maybe start with that and
Mhm.
see if that's, you know, if that inspires some kind of a line, a hook.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't have to include, you know, I'm your catfish, baby. You know, you know, it doesn't have to, but it wouldn't hurt either.
Yeah.
You know, but what does that take you to? You know, and I think the trick to the blues is being free to talk about emotions
Mhm.
without necessarily having to get too deadly into, or too into the minutia.
Okay.
You know, it's you know, talk about loss or talk about gain.
Mhm.
I don't know, but you know, you don't have to dial it in to the exact detail, because I think that leaves the story open for others to relate.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I mean, you had me and I lost my baby,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But I don't need to know it's because, you know, I really went out of my way and had a drinking problem. I refused to pay the mortgage, and we don't really need to know that. The end result is you lost her. You know, I'm not saying you lost, but you know what I'm saying. You know, and that's all sometimes a person needs to know. You know, and when you listen to, I like to go back and listen to the old Robert Johnson, because nothing's more direct than that.
Yeah.
You know, he just, you know, sometimes it's riddled with metaphors, you know,
Yeah.
but he just lays it right out, you know, and it's not super detailed, and I think that openness makes it super relatable, and the rest of it is what you hear.
Yeah.
So any idea where you might want to go with the, you know?
Lyrics. And my plan, or my proto plan,
Uh-huh.
nucleus
Hey.
plan was to find a progression that I felt spoke to me.
Yeah,
And
so this one speaks to you.
And then but
Yeah.
all different pieces of it, and then a melody that find some progressions that spoke to me, and then melodies that were compatible with the progression.
So start with this one, and again, you're not going to hurt my feelings if it evolves to anything different.
Okay.
My job here is to kind of throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. I got to get them going.
I
Just
understand.
to help you find some direction. And I didn't want to run something that I knew you already knew. You can
Yeah.
do a shuffle in E.
Yeah.
You know minor blues in E.
Yeah.
But these changes are, yeah, they're a little bit more
Mhm.
intensive, and I think they're fun, and they definitely open up for a lot of melodic exploration. just don't let the old school tunes that are very similar to this.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Stray Cat Straw this
Okay.
week. Don't listen to Is You Is or Ain't You Is You Ain't My Baby this week. We don't want those melodies in your ear.
Yeah.
You know, I probably shouldn't have even said it. You know, just try and divorce yourself of listening to those tunes so that you can come up with something that's different from those. Because these are stock ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you anything that hasn't been done. But when you play a blues, I mean, how much of it is going to be absolutely original?
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard one blues artist yet that was completely original in the concept.
Yeah.
Now, the story, the feel, the intensity, different animal.
Okay.
You know. All right, my man.
All right,
Very
thank you.
good. Good deal. So we'll you know, we haven't forgotten about our other stuff on deck, but I'm excited for you on this. Yeah, man. It's